Hello and welcome to another GW2 lore video. Today we look at Mad King Thorn. Mad King Oswald Thorn was a human monarch who ruled Kryta in the 9th century AE. Famed for his lethal lunacy which he kept up after his death when he returned as the powerful spirit of Halloween. As a young man, Prince Oswald was a prolific prankster and troublemaker, and was responsible for the deaths of both Serene and Samson through negligence, but as a second son he was not expected to ascend to the throne. Nevertheless, he schemed his way to the throne, murdering his well-liked elder brother, Prince Ewan, and later his father, but not before taking his brother's betrothed, Lady Larisha, as his wife, and having her assassinated. The reign of King Thorn was nasty, brutish, and short. His first act as king was to execute Lord Humphrey Farron for accusing him of murdering his father, declaring all traitors would be punished. Later, famine and drought struck Kryta, but the high taxes drove some peasants to theft and others to starvation. King Thorn rounded up all citizens who were even suspected of theft and cut off their hands. He kidnapped the father of the Istani princess Zola and ransomed him for her hand in marriage, but had her executed when he grew tired of her, sparking a war with Istan, in which Kryta was ultimately victorious. He had 8 wives in total. The other known wives include Estrella, who was killed by Oswald when he put her in a coffin full of rats and dumped it into the sea, and Henrietta, who was killed by his heir, Prince Edric. There was also Edric's mother, who was beheaded on Edric's birthday. Oswald viewed his son to be a disappointment, and after a failed coup attempt on the final night of his rule, stuffed his son's mouth with candy corn and had him locked in a shell of insanity. His tyranny came to an end approximately 825 AE when an angry mob stormed Castle Thorn, ending his earthly rule. The rebels intended to kill his 8th wife and son as well during the assault, ending the Thorn dynasty and beseech his cousin to take the throne and plead forgiveness. Worried that he would try and return using his magic, his killers hid his body parts in boxes and buried them in locations scattered across Tyria, obscuring their locations with magical seals. Although unable to return to Tyria due to the seals, except at Halloween at which he would make an annual appearance, Thorn rose to notoriety within the underworld, coming to rule a sub-realm of his own. In 1079 AE, the ascension of Queen Salma to the throne of Kryta broke one of the seals, and his lunatic court sent about attempting to break the rest of them, so that he may be as powerful in Tyria as he was in the underworld. A selection of artifacts from his life was gathered, and a suitable vessel for his spirit was obtained from a mausoleum. The political climate was also prepared for his return, inciting his arch-rival Palawa Joko into swearing to flood valleys and enslave nations to get his vengeance on Tyria. But the rituals had not freed King Thorn, but instead his favoured steed, Mr. Gumdrops, and the lunatic court returned to the drawing board, chastened. After his court's failure, the Mad King's influence was not felt for a long time, and he became a folklore used to scare children. However, in 1325 AE, over 2 centuries after his court's failure, the Mad King made a dramatic return, shattering the Lion's Court in the Grand Piazza of Lion's Arch, and assaulting the citizens with insidious pranks and terrible jokes, attempting to break free into Tyria. His return was opposed by Magister Tassi, and foiled by heroes who ventured straight into the Mad King's realm, defeating him in his own game as well as in battle. Mad King Oswald Thorn still returns each year, now every Halloween, but now has to contend with his estranged son during the festivities. Who knows what the Mad King has in store for us this year?